Hey Northland, it's your preacher. Just wanted to say that I am so glad you're diving into this teaching on finding financial freedom, led by my good friend for a lot of years, Howard Dayton. Learning the first principles of saving and spending and giving is so important to our growth as believers in Jesus Christ. That's why the Bible has so much to say about managing our money God's way. This study is going to be a blessing to you, no matter what your shape your finances are in. Millions of people have gone through this very study and found financial freedom. More importantly, though, it will absolutely transform your relationship with the one who owns it all. I'm always blown away by the awesome people God brings to our congregation, and Howard Dayton is one of those. He's just awesome, a leading authority on biblical stewardship. I've learned so much from him on this topic personally, which is why I'm so excited that you're doing this study. May the Lord bless you as you learn these valuable truths from God's Word and apply them to your life.
Now, let me tell you why I'm so incredibly passionate about you learning God's way of handling money. I was about 30 years old, and my business partner encouraged me to join him in a study of all things the Bible to find out what it said about money. Now, my partner knew I knew nothing about the Bible. I'll never forget it. He said, "Howard, let's divide the Bible right in two. Let's be totally fair and equitable on this project. Oh, why don't I take the New Testament? You can have the Old Testament." I didn't realize the Old Testament was 4 times as large, but that was the watershed year for me. I fell in love with God's Word, particularly as it related to money and possessions. And we were astonished to learn there were 2,350 verses in the Bible dealing with how to handle money. 15% of everything that Jesus said had to do with it. And I think the Lord said so much about money for one simple reason. He cares for us. He loves us. He knew that money would be challenging for all of us from time to time, and He wanted to give us principles that would help us make smart financial decisions and also would please Him. Well, Bev and I have led about 60 small group financial studies, and the reason we've led so many is we just love to see people learn how to handle money God's way. And as you'll discover, another real benefit is that very close friendships can be developed in your group. Now, about half of our groups have been fantastic. The other half have been good, but there was one group wasn't good at all. And the reason it wasn't was that the members of the group weren't faithful in doing the homework. So I want to encourage you. No, I want to challenge you. Be faithful to do the homework for the class. It'll benefit you, and it'll benefit the others in your group. Now, a big part of what we want to accomplish is to help you apply what you're learning. And I've asked a very close friend, Kyle Hasbrook, to help us do just that.
Thanks, Howard. Well, as we're going to learn next week, we are stewards of God's possessions. And in order to be good stewards, we have to know what we're to manage. That's why we fill out the List Your Assets worksheet. It gives you the big picture of your finances. It's not necessary to be exact. Simply estimate the value of each asset, and don't forget to do this with your spouse if you're married. Next, we're going to complete a deed to help us recognize God's ownership. Now, it's not a legally binding deed, but it's important to have a time where we transfer all we have to the Lord. Many people have been deeply impacted by this. And lastly, we're going to begin building a budget. And Howard, I know you don't like the word budget.
I don't. I mean, it's even hard for me to say the word budget without stuttering, because a budget just feels like it's a financial straitjacket, endless hours of monotonous bookkeeping. But a budget, if you really understand that it's a spending plan and you're simply telling your money where you want it to go, well, it can make all the difference.
Right. Well, because people have different preferences, we offer 3 budgeting options: pencil and paper, an electronic spreadsheet, and an online version. Now, if you choose to use pencil and paper, all the forms you'll need are included in your workbook. And Howard, I know you like the electronic spreadsheets.
Yeah, I really do. They can be downloaded from the Compass website. And the cool thing about the spreadsheets is They do the math for you, and for me, that's a big deal.
The third option is an online version called Money Lounge. It's free, and it's an amazing tool that's an easy way to create your budget. You simply answer some questions to begin your budget, and then Money Lounge helps you stick with it over the long run. Money Lounge uses Mint.com, a popular free online budgeting system. It tracks your spending, has smartphone apps, and sends you alerts when you need them. It also offers tons of reporting features to help you stay on top of your spending. Log on to moneylounge.org/compass to try it out, and I promise you won't be disappointed.
Well, you're right about that, and now it's time to begin creating your budget, and I don't want you to get uptight. Remember, when you're using a budget, you're positioning yourself to actually enjoy amazing freedom.
That's right, Howard. And the first step to enjoying freedom is building your budget. Starting with understanding where your money is going by tracking your income and spending for 30 days. So every time you receive income, record the amount in the income column. And each time you spend, record the amount under the appropriate spending category. Now, a list of these spending categories is in the workbook to help you categorize your spending.
Thanks, Kyle. And before you leave, I'd like to find out what the study has really meant to you and your wife, Danielle.
This is Kyle.
And this is Danielle.
We're the Hasbrooks.
Yep.
And
this is our name tag.
When we first started talking about a budget, I came at it a little bit more from a negative standpoint until we actually started implementing our budget. I felt like it was more of a restriction instead of something to benefit us and make us more free in our spending. Sometimes I still struggle with that, but in the beginning our budget, I would say, was very slim, and then as we've been able to as we've been blessed to have a little more income, we've been able to make that more comfortable. Within our budget, we would flex back and forth sometimes. You know, if our income wasn't the same one month to the next, then we would have a flex budget, and if it was a more consistent income, then we would kind of stick to the same budget and have, you know, a grocery amount for each month, and a savings amount, and a giving amount, and an entertainment amount, and that's kind of the guideline that we tried to stick to and use on a regular basis.
Right. And one of the things is when we became totally debt-free, we changed our budget very little. We upped a couple things, whether it was going out to eat maybe once more a month, or the things we ended up focusing on after that were saving and investing and upping our giving. And we didn't change our lifestyle a whole lot because we just didn't felt like we had a great life and we were living within our means and enjoying that. So.
Hi, I'm Paula Collins, and I'm here alone only because my husband is working, but I want to say that this is a fabulous, fabulous program. Fabulous. Executing the deed was very difficult because I had to really focus on what do I have, because it's everything. Your children, your money, your investments, your education, your life, everything should be placed on that deed. And it was very hard to figure out, well, should this be put on there? And you sort of said, well, I'm not sure if I want to put that on there yet. And I've taken the course several times. And in doing so, the more I take it, the more I realize that it's really important to add as much as you possibly can think about that belongs to God, because it all does belong to Him.
Well, my prayer for you during this study is that you'll become financially healthier, develop very close friendships with the others in your group, and most importantly, you'll grow even closer to Jesus Christ.